What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and I have something that's super interesting for you guys, okay? It is another article, but it's very interesting, okay? In this video, we're looking at an article that was written that says this. It says this. Opener shows Detroit Lions destined to miss playoffs. Interesting, okay? So now I read through some of this, and I already have some responses to a few things. But I didn't read through all of it, okay? So we're going to go through it together. But as you guys probably know, I'm very against this. Like, I don't agree with this at all. Maybe some of you guys do, the Lions lose the playoffs. This was wrote by James. Thank you, James, for the good article. I mean, I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm still grateful for the article. Even though I don't agree, I'm still grateful for the article. All right, so let's hop right into it. The debacle that was the Detroit Lions loss, I mean tie. So basically, he's already starting off saying it was lost. But yes, it was a tie. You don't have to put that in, you know, any kind of parentheses or anything like that. It was a tie. It wasn't a loss. It was a tie. It still does not sit well. Obviously, it does not sit well. Now, I actually read some stuff from Matt Patricia, and he says that their mental state is good. Everybody's like kind of forgetting about the game, which is definitely a good thing, and they've moved on to the Chargers, which is a very good thing. He says that at one point, this team looked like it was on the way to an easy and large victory. Instead, they settled into yet another embarrassing loss. Again, also a tie. It wasn't a loss. It was a tie. I don't know where that comes from. So now let's scroll down a little bit. Let's get through here. When you're up 18 points, you were usually not letting a team hang around. The Lions took their foot off the gas and let the Cardinals back into it. It's amazing. And remember, I said the pressure is on Matt Patricia. You got to show the rest of the NFL that this gimmicky offense isn't going to work. The Lions got to be able to finish. Okay, I agree. I wanted the Lions finish, but they didn't. Okay, when it comes down to it, they didn't finish the game. But now, that's not what this is all about. Okay, your article is about Lions aren't going to make the playoffs because of that. Now let's get into it. Comes down to this. Sunday's loss, called a tie if you like, but this team has 0 wins, is unacceptable. It is a tie, so it's not like me calling whatever I want. That's what it is. That's literally what it's called. But I can see what you're saying. No wins, unacceptable. Sure, I think with that lead, it was pretty unacceptable that happened. I can agree with that. Cardinals have an awful roster. Detroit Lions have some real talent. So you're saying the Cardinals are awful, but you know what I mean? If you want to just look directly at last year, you could say that. But I don't think they're awful. Now, do I think we're a better team? Yes. Don't get me wrong. I think we're a way more talented team. Says the Detroit Lions roster has some real talent, much more in Arizona, but they lack type of players and coaches to understand how to finish off an opponent. Okay, interesting. Now let's go down a little bit. Problem starts with head coach Matt Patricia. Okay, so he's putting on Matt Patricia. Okay, all of a sudden, after 3 well-played quarters, the defense was less aggressive with Murray, more concerned he might break a big running play, and suddenly Kyler started moving the ball in the pocket and making throws. I can agree with that. I can absolutely agree with that. We did get less aggressive. Even if he doesn't want to say they did, they did. You can watch it back. They got pretty less aggressive on defense, at least on defense side of things. And then he says on offense, all that has been established is how upset everyone is over the timeout that was presented on the first down. But what about Matthew Stafford's role in this? This is where this is where it gets interesting, okay? After the ill-timed timeout, he was on the sideline screaming, "Trust me," and he's right. He is right. But Stafford didn't make enough plays to win the game. Wow, okay, so Stafford didn't do enough to win this game. All right, so here we go again, putting it back on Matthew Stafford. Great stuff, I love it. All right, he played well and had great statistics, but he didn't do well. He didn't do good enough to win the game. He didn't do enough to win the game. Okay, I mean, I'm not really sure what he's supposed to do when you're up 24-6. You know, if you're gonna, you just said that, you know, the debacle wasn't on Stafford because they would have had the first time the game would have been over. So I don't see how that's on Stafford. And then, you know, the play call coming out, it would have been on Darrell Bevel, so I'm still kind of confused. Let's keep reading. Okay, then we see that's earning trust, even if it means overcoming a bonehead decision by our coaches. Whoa, hey everybody. Oh, I'm sorry for scaring you guys, okay? I just had to hop in here real quick. So basically, I'm editing this, and I realized something that went on in the video that I didn't really explain. Okay, basically, when this guy says that Matthew Stafford, even after that debacle play, should have stepped up. Okay, let's look at what he had after that, right? After the debacle crazy play, Darrell Bevel makes a call, it's incomplete. Okay, when does Stafford get the ball again after that? He gets it one time with 40 seconds and the game is tied. We don't go get points. Let's not act like he hasn't done that in his career before. Okay, we didn't get points, that's fine, right? I mean, how many quarterbacks do you expect to get points with 40 seconds on the clock? We got 12 yards and we had a couple of incomplete passes overtime. Then in overtime, he got us to field goal, drove us all the way down the field to about the 12-yard line, but a great defensive play that was knocked out of Kenny Galladay's hands caused an incompletion. Okay, so we got the field goal, but that put us tied again. So it's not like he didn't show up. He had the ball again then later, but we didn't have any time to go score. We had like 10 seconds on the clock and there were only 20, so there was no chance for us to score there. So what I'm trying to figure out is how in the world he's acting like Stafford should have bounced back from this. Okay, yes, that was a bad timeout. Stafford only got the ball one more time regulation with 40 seconds to go. Okay, and then he got it in overtime once, drives us down the field and gets the field goal. If it wasn't for a great play, we would have won the game, okay, because he threw a good pass to Kenny Galladay. Great pass right on his hands. And then he didn't have enough time the next time he got it because there was only like 10 seconds left. So let me just throw that little clip in here. Now, fly back into the video. Earning trust. Okay, so apparently he didn't earn their trust yet. Understand. Okay, this is the problem with Stafford, who has always lacked the proper coaching when it comes to being the next level quarterback. And that the problem continues in the Patricia era. Okay, so apparently you just said that the problem with Stafford is that he's never had coaches. But then you say that Stafford is the problem. Like, how can it be Stafford's problem? But then you're just going to come right back and say, you know, it is Stafford's problem, but it's because he doesn't have coaches. So that doesn't seem like it's Stafford's problem, right? That would be the coach's problem. I guess I'm not catching on yet. This entire team has to be responsible for the loss. It should be, right? I mean, that's how it is every single game. Defensively, definitely. Everywhere. We have made a lot of mistakes. The Detroit Lions have once again shown they cannot execute winning football. Okay, interesting. This was an easy victory, and they have nothing to show for their efforts. Yeah, I think we should have won the game. There is trouble coming. The Detroit Lions will eke out 5 or 6 and apparently in a half victories. So that's your opinion. This is not a stat. This is not a statistic. They will win more than 5 or 6 games. I have them going 12-4 before the season started. They already tied, so maybe 12-3-1 is more realistic. They're going to make playoffs, yo. They're going to make playoffs. This guy's saying they're going to win 5 or 6 games, okay? So that's not a fact. That's an opinion, which you're allowed to have your opinion. That's fine. I know some of you guys don't think they will make it either. That's okay. And nothing will change, okay? And then he says, when the draft arrives, they won't be in a position to get a top quarterback. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a second. Why does drafting a top quarterback have anything to do with fixing this team if the problem with Stafford is he doesn't have the right coaching? So you're telling me if you go get another quarterback, you're going to have the right coaching and he'll be good? I'm not really understanding what you're talking about here. Because wouldn't you just want to get new coaches then? If you're going to literally say that coaching is the reason that Stafford has struggled, or he can't win games, or he can't do enough at the end, then why would you go get a different quarterback? Because isn't that the coach's problem? And let's not act like Stafford isn't one of the best quarterbacks Lions ever had. You could make the argument he is the best, unless you want to go way, way, way back, okay? Then he says, and they probably will get another year. We get a decision, and management will idly sit by and say that 2020 will be their year. Okay, one, if you're going to say idly like they haven't made moves, you're wrong. The management has made moves. We made tons of moves this offseason. Not like they're just sitting there. They're trying different things, and I can appreciate that. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But they are doing stuff. We're not going to act like they're not doing anything. We're not going to act like they didn't go spend tons of money in free agency, like they didn't make any kind of moves. We're not going to act like that's true, okay? Because I see every single day we're working out players, bringing them to the practice squad. We're doing a lot of different things every single day. So let's not act like they don't do anything, okay? So that's what I see there. And then they will probably get another year, which I think it depends on how good the year goes. I think if you win less than 5 games, you may not get another year. Now, what do you mean by management? How far into management do you mean? Do you mean Bob Quinn? You mean Matt Patricia? What do you mean by that? Then he says the answer to fix this isn't clear, but this isn't working. Okay, so the answer isn't clear, but apparently you just said it was a coaching fault. So I don't understand why the answer isn't clear. Get a new coach. Isn't that what your answer would be? This franchise still doesn't understand what it takes to win. The Cardinals will have a terrible season. Okay, so apparently he believes Cardinals will be terrible. Opinion. We don't know yet. We'll see. You might be right when we come back. You may be completely wrong. We'll wait and see. I don't think they're going to be terrible. I think the Dolphins are obviously they're going to be the worst team in the league. I don't think that's a question. But one of the highlights will be this comeback victory, not really a tie for them. It's not a victory. It's not a victory. For them, they could honestly be a little more upset that, hey, we did all this and we only tied, right? Against the Detroit Lions, okay? And if a tie is a highlight, that's a problem, first of all. This may be just the beginning of a long season of disappointment, which it's not. Don't worry, y'all. And it is really sad because the roster looks better this year over last. The only hope is that a hiccup is part of the slow start, which I think it is, okay? It's the first game. We didn't manage it very well down the stretch. We did let up. I mean, that's a fact. You said it. We did let up. Here's hoping the Lions find their way into the playoffs and ultimately shows they can be the league playoff team. But the scenario seems as likely as another tie. Okay, great. So I'm just kind of confused on this. So basically, let me get back to the title. The title is Opener shows Detroit Lions are destined to miss the playoffs. Like they're going to miss the playoffs, okay? They're set in a position where they will miss the playoffs. So why will they miss the playoffs? Only thing I got out of this is that apparently Matt Patricia is the problem because he became less aggressive. But then he would say Matthew Stafford's the problem because he couldn't finish the game. But it is the coach's problem that Matthew Stafford couldn't finish the game. So I don't understand where this comes back to Matthew Stafford. But then you said you don't know what the answer is. Well, it seems pretty clear to me. You just said what the answer is. The answer is the coaching, right? I think you pretty much gave away what the answer is here. Because then you're going to come down here and say that we don't know what the answer is. And then you're going to try to say, oh, we just got to have a high draft pick. You're basically saying, since we'll win 5 or 6 games, we're not going to have a high draft pick, so we won't be able to get a great quarterback. That'll be the problem. No, that's usually not the problem. Usually, it's super, super hard to find a quarterback no matter what draft pick you have. Usually. Okay, so even if the Lions had the first pick in the draft, let's not act like we would be set for next year because we got a quarterback. Because again, we could draft the best quarterback in the world, but apparently to you, if the coaches aren't good enough, then how would the quarterback matter at all? Right? So for you, you're saying the coaches need to be changed. So basically this whole article summarized, you want the coaches out and you believe the Lions will win 5 to 6 games. I disagree with the 5 to 6 games. That will not happen. I think we will still make the playoffs. And if you want to say it's the coaches, that's fine, but I don't understand where you throw Matthew Stafford into this. I just want to react to this. I do appreciate James F. Pazzulli? I'm going to say Pazzulli, for writing this article. And, if you guys don't think the Lions will make the playoffs, that's fine. Hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you don't agree, that's all right. You don't have to agree with me. As you know, I am pretty optimistic about this team usually. But let me just hear your comments and thoughts in the comments below. Not comments in the thoughts below. That don't make no sense. If you're leaving your comments in the thoughts below, that's the problem, okay? Anyways, thank you, Prep, for watching, and I'm out.